Hey guys, this is Blake. Joycey's not with me, and this is Savagely Scaled. The reason why Joycey's not with me is I'm recording our intro. This is for our first affiliate of the year. It's with Excel Health and Fitness, and that's in Northern California. Joycey got to sit down with Danny. Unfortunately, with our first time going up to see him, or when Joycey went to go see him with Joe, he was sick. Then when we decided to do a Zoom meeting with him, I got sick. So it's been back and forth, and with the holidays and everything and everybody being sick, it was just easier to have one of us do it. I hope you enjoy it. Joycey always does a great job, solo or with me. So here's to the first affiliate segment of the year. Enjoy.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, Danny. Well, thank you so much first and foremost for coming in and making some time on a busy Sunday. I know that Sunday's a very busy day for everybody, meal prepping, all of that fun stuff. But I appreciate you coming in.
Yeah, I appreciate you being flexible. I'm glad we find time.
I know. So let's get started first and foremost talking about Excel. I did get a chance to jump on in and take a class, which was amazing. Luckily, I had Joe who kind of helped me navigate my way, and Jen was there as well. So that was very helpful. But very, very open, very huge, massive space, at least from my experience. So I'm just very curious. Can you just first and foremost speak to what opened you to CrossFit, like your background with CrossFit first, and then speak a little bit to how that kind of transgressed to you opening your own affiliate?
Yeah, sure. So I never stopped working out after high school sports. But it wasn't always, CrossFit, whatever, but it was, whatever, a classic kind of like bodybuilding, let's get yoked type thing, right? But in school, when I was in high school, I was lucky enough I had some coaches for wrestling, and then also for track and field. I threw shot put and discus. And so I had some coaches who took us in the weight room, and it wasn't just, your standard kind of like bodybuilding splits, but they actually taught us power cleans and, and to some degree, even like some power snatches, along with your classic like deadlift, squat, bench, and then some of the other accessory work. And they weren't experts by any stretch of the imagination, but it was enough to like get you some exposure to it and be like, oh, okay, cool. And like, feel like you are familiar. You can do a power clean or know what a snatch is, right? And the difference between a hang snatch and a full snatch and a power and, that type of stuff, right? And so then in college, I was a PE major. And also we had a strength conditioning class. And again, the coach, the professor for it was pretty knowledgeable with weightlifting. And so it was the same type thing. Like, we weren't going to send anybody to the Olympics or anything, but, as far as like teaching the lifts with like some amount of like certainty and correctness. And so anyway, so I liked doing those things. So I was just kind of working out on my own, doing kind of whatever, trying to stay in shape. I was coaching wrestling. And so I was in pretty decent shape still from, rolling around and on the mats and everything. And then nice. I had a friend who's a firefighter. And he just said, like, we'd work out together sometimes. Like, hey, I found out about this thing. This is like 2007. Found out this thing called CrossFit. Dude, it's the best. Like, whatever. Like, I can eat whatever I want, and I'm fucking losing weight. It was like
facts.
Yeah, especially when you first start, particularly. Anyway, and so I was like, yeah, let's do it, man. I'll try one. So I did a workout, the first one. And I remember I was like, oh, this feels like wrestling practice. Like I'd never found something working out where I knew like, oh, this is what hard work really feels like, or this is what getting in shape actually feels like, right? Compared to just like going for a run or whatever. Mm-hmm. And so that was it. I'm like, all right, well, let's give this thing a rip. And so I just followed the main site, and I said, I'm to follow the main site for 100 days straight. And then we'll see if I like this, want to keep doing it, do something different, whatever, And that was it, man. I never looked back.
And what year was that? Do you remember the year?
2007.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So the early days of CrossFit, the garage days of CrossFit.
Yeah. So then there we go. So then that'll lead us in the gym. So with that, I'm like, well, are there any affiliates around here anywhere? And actually, there's a small town of like 10,000 people that's like 20 minutes away from me, and they had an affiliate in there. I was like, oh, that's interesting. Let me go check that out. So I go and I look it up, and sure enough, it's owned. So I was teaching PE now. I was like out of school teaching PE. It's owned by a guy who was a PE teacher in the same school district,
Oh,
just at a different school.
wow.
And so I go out there, talk to him. He had just moved out of the garage. So the story is that, so he was just working out in his garage doing CrossFit, and then at 5 a.m, and then his neighbors were like, would see him in there. They're like, what are you doing? Like, what's going on? Can I like join you? He's like, yeah, dude, come by.
Wow.
Right. And so then next thing you know, it's 2 people, 3 people. Well, then he's in his garage. There's like 5 or 6 people showing up. So he's got to like buy more equipment and do more. He's like, well, if I'm buying more equipment, I should probably start charging these people. And if I'm gonna do that, I should probably make this legit thing. And so then so he founded the affiliate CrossFit Excel, and then in his garage, and then like pretty much immediately like moved, got a like 900 square foot, building to have the affiliate in. Well, that was, and then 2 weeks later is when I found him. Right. So he had just like opened this first box, and we do a workout together. And then basically he's like, hey, I need some help coaching these classes. Like he was doing all the work. He had a business partner who helped found it with him, but wasn't really being involved at all, like anticipated. Like I think it sounded like a good idea, and I had all the right intentions, but he was busy and stuff. And so Nick basically said like, hey, I got this guy who's not doing anything. Just buy him out and come into business with me, and let's do this thing. And so it was perfect timing because he had just moved into this spot. You know what I mean? And I said, all right, sounds good. And so I went and got my level 1, and then started helping him coach classes out there. And then pretty shortly, a year later, our lease was up. So we moved to 1800 we actually moved to a different town. There was nowhere else, no like warehouse in town that were bigger that would work. And so we moved to the bigger town that was, 15 minutes away. And most of our members came with us. That's all good. We just kind of adjusted some class times to help with that.
And that's your location, right? The one that you're at now.
So we moved to another one that was like 1,800 square feet. Which is where, man, it's double the space. This place is huge. Or it's and then sure enough, though, that lease is up a year later, and we needed more space, and so then we moved to our current location, but we just had half of it, and so that was like, whatever, like 5,000 square feet, and it's like anyway. Then now. And then like about a year later, the people that were in the other half of that building, we actually shared a hallway where the bathrooms are. Just the actual main gym, that wall was split in half. That room was. So they wanted out of their lease. They basically, hey, we don't need this. Do you want to just like take it over for us? We said, sounds great. And then so it blew the whole wall down. So now in total, we have about 10,500 square feet. Not all of that is training floor. That includes the bathroom, the lobby, the office, that type of stuff. About 7,000 feet of training floor.
Oh my gosh. It looked like, was it previously like a school or something like that?
No. So this is great. It originally was a Pump It Up, which Pump It Up is like bounce houses. And so it's funny. There's some like little spots of carpet under some of the mats. If you find the right spot, you can see the carpet like still is like all this like, it's black with like confetti print, and like it says Pump It Up on it. So it's like kids like birthday party, like there's whatever, a dozen bounce houses in there. So that's why like in the bathrooms, like the sinks are kind of low to the ground.
Yeah. I did see that.
One normal, the one lower.
Yeah.
And then say there's some water fountains, and like some of them are lower to the ground than others. Yeah, it's kind of funny, but it worked out great because the bathrooms are nice. There's like, 3 or 4 stalls in the men's and the women's. And, anyway, it worked out perfect. Also it was the conditional use. We didn't have to worry about a conditional use permit because the city said that like recreation is like, they got a conditional use permit in that building for like, youth recreation, and the city's like, yep, recreation sounds good. You're good. You can do a gym there. Don't worry about it. So we didn't have to like file for extra permitting. So it ended up working out beautifully.
That's amazing. So was that your first time like officially owning like a business and kind of navigating that?
Yes. But I wasn't, for sure. But I wasn't worried, or it wasn't weird to me. So my my grandfather started some businesses, and that's what he did, is he ran a business. And so my dad actually, like growing up, my dad was working for either his grandfather in the family business, or my grandfather retired, then my dad took it over and was running it. So, I grew up with, my dad was, his job was running this air conditioning company, right? Like heating and air conditioning company. So the idea of owning your own business and, doing your own thing wasn't strange, wasn't scary. Don't get me wrong. I didn't sit down with my dad or my grandfather and like go over P&Ls or something. Like I didn't know, I didn't know anything about like, the details as far as that goes, but just the idea of owning a business, running a business, being in charge of this thing, like that wasn't scary to me. It was just kind of a normal, sometimes people get jobs working for other people. Sometimes people run their own companies, right?
And how long have you been like in ownership of this gym now?
Yeah, so 2008.
Oh,
When we found
wow.
it. So yeah,
17 years now.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. And how many members do you guys have currently?
So we have a CrossFit program. We also have a yoga studio in the building because we have the spaceport and everything. But so just CrossFit wise, about 250.
Gotcha. And then I know you mentioned you do have yoga classes. So are there any programs that you follow particularly, or any programming that your gym follows?
No. So for talking about for yoga or for CrossFit, both?
I guess both. Like, what are some of the
Well,
other types of classes that you offer as well?
Yeah. So, I mean, for yoga, it's pretty different than CrossFit in lots of ways. Basically, I mean, it's like there's the style that the class is supposed to be, like either yin or vinyasa or whatever. And then the instructor is responsible for like doing everything for it. Like they just create that class. Where for CrossFit, there's the gym programming that every class does that day. We do our own right now. Buddy, my business partner, he does our program currently. We've followed other programs from time to time, but like, I don't know, man. If you know your membership base, you kind of know what every gym kind of has their own thoughts and theories on like programming, or are you going to do a strength and a metcon in the same class, and if you are doing that, then like, do you use the same movement patterns that you use in the strength also in the metcon, or do you do different movement patterns? How long are those? There's just a lot kind of to it. And we've just found that myself, particularly, and Buddy, both of us, and we have some pretty strong opinions about what is appropriate for, or what we like to do, I should say, in a class setting. And so we do our own programming just because we like the control over, how long are the workouts? Do we have enough time to go over the movements, the modifications? Do we have time to actually do some skill work and some teaching? One thing about the gym is one area we're really strong is in coaches. Like we just have, and I know there's lots of good coaches around. I've dropped in lots of gyms, but like we have a lot of experienced coaches. Like Buddy's been coaching CrossFit since 2010 or whatever, in 2009 or 10. I have since 2008. I was a PE teacher. I have a graduate degree in education. So just not just the actual movement stuff, but like the, just like pedagogy of like how to teach things and organizational structure of classes, and like running a class, working with populations that maybe have some non-English speakers, like, just like different things like that. So, and then we have other coaches. Like we have, most of our staff, probably 70% of our staff or more actually has level 2s. Like have been doing it for more than over 10 years. Anyway, so we really focus on that type of thing and make sure to spend time on teaching progressions and movement patterns and like running a class the right way. It's not just start on time, end on time, and get everyone sweaty, but we want people to be moving well and that type of stuff. So we do our own programming now for the classes.
And is that hard to manage? Because obviously, like you said, there's different gyms that just kind of like follow a certain kind of programming, copy paste it to the whiteboard, let's go. But I would imagine doing your own programming takes a little bit. It's more time consuming to actually have to prepare for the classes or the week or what have you. But what is that experience like for you as a I guess I'm assuming maybe you still
Well,
coach in addition
yeah,
to doing programming.
yeah. Well, I mean, so there's ways. It's not like you have to make up every single workout from scratch, right? Like
Hmm.
you can borrow and steal from different programs to put together what you're looking for. And
Got
so,
it.
I mean, like I said, Buddy does our programming, but we have very similar philosophies on it. Um, Basically, from a high level aspect of it, as it's pretty straightforward CrossFit style stuff. Like, um, we want to make sure we vary time domains, right? And so, if you think of, call it less than 7 or 8 minutes, and then kind of the 8 minute to 15-minute mark, and then over 15-minute mark, like if you make those three buckets, we want to make sure that all three of those buckets are evenly, evenly tapped into over the course of a week or even over the course of a month, if you zoom out a little bit more. I'm kind of a big, not kind of, I'm a big believer in touching on every movement pattern every day for the most part. Because in the gym, you're talking about affiliate, it's different than like an individual program for somebody. Because in the gym, like not everybody's going every day, right? Like they shouldn't probably, you know what I mean? Or you can, if if you can manage to like actually work at whatever 70% some of those days. But um, and so you can write programming for a 5-day week or a 7-day week, but the reality is most people are going to be in there, between 2 and 4 times that week. And so if you do just like hammer, say you do a strength of squats, and then you also do a Metcon on that same day that has a bunch of squatting movements in it, and you don't touch on other stuff, it's like, well, that person, they come that day, one of their day, like all they did is squat that week, right? And so I think hitting on different movement patterns over the course of the week, or over the course of the day and the week, is more beneficial. And by doing so, and you can do so and everything, as long as you keep volume to a level that's high enough to get some stimulus out of it, but then low enough to not wreck people, so that if they do have the same
Right.
movement pattern subsequent days, it's not detrimental. So anyway, so you can just kind of take these different ideas, principles, you could say, and then just plug in the work, and then look at, okay, what are some CrossFit.com workouts, either currently or previously? What are some different workouts? Also, we've been doing this for so long now, we have a pretty large bank of things we know we like and do, and so, yeah, so Buddy just kind of builds out the schedule, the programming schedule over the course of weeks and months, based on these kind of core principles of, making sure equal volume of the major movement patterns and equal volume of the different time domains, and that type of stuff.
And then aside from yoga and your CrossFit classes, is there any other courses that you do offer at your gym or any other classes?
It varies. We do a boot camp, like indoor boot camp style class, in 6-week sessions, and that's really designed. We have someone at our gym. We have a coach who has experience doing that, like was running like boot camp style classes at another local gym. And some people are just scared of the word CrossFit, right? And so it's like, all right, we just offer a 6-week boot camp course. It's 3 nights a week, at a time where, at the end of the day, where our classes are pretty much done. So we have the space available for it. And so that's been great, because it's, gets more people in gym. Anytime you can help someone work out. And these people probably would have never committed to the gym to do CrossFit, right?
Right.
And so coming into that, and honestly, it's basically like CrossFit Light anyway. It's just like more dumbbells, less barbells, more kind of stations, but it's really not that different. And a lot of times, sometimes it is straight up like CrossFit workouts. And we have had some people from that do that 6 weeks and then end up joining and doing CrossFit after that. We have kids programs. We run kids classes and camps. We also have for like ages 5 to 12, and then we have athletic development camps for ages 13 to 17. And then we have one of the more fun things we do, that's we've been doing about a year now, and it's been a huge hit, is we call it CrossFit Silver, and that's for ages 60 plus.
Wow.
And they could do our regular classes, but it's the same thing. Like they wouldn't start. So we have a lot of members that are over the age of 60 that do our regular classes, but they've been doing it for 5, 10, 15 years. Whereas someone who is just, maybe they're deconditioned, they're out of shape, like they'd be intimidated. They're like, oh, we got a class just for you. Everyone in there is over the age of 60. It's like, okay, well, let's come check it out. And then they come, they're like, oh yeah, all these people look like me and it's normal, whatever. And so that's something too. So Yeah, so that's kind of the main things we have going on.
I love that. It seems like you have a very wide range of like all ages, offerings, opportunities, things like that. And it sounds like you said you have an amazing group of coaches that help you facilitate that. Someone kind of is
Yeah.
doing yoga and their own thing, someone's doing CrossFit and all of that. And something that I really love is how you're kind of trying to bridge the gap between like the education aspect of CrossFit and also kind of like the fitness side. So tell me a little bit more about how your coaches are able to kind of do that. You mentioned a bit about Buddy, but there's other coaches that you also have on board. So tell us a little bit more about your coaches and kind of how you were able to bring together this whole team to build Excel.
Sure. So it used to be pretty much everyone was like homegrown. Now we have a mixture, which has been fun. So, we've had 3 different coaches now that are fantastic that like moved from out of the area. Right. And so it's funny, and all of them, they first showed up and they didn't come asking to coach. They showed up and just joined as a member, right? Like they all actually like dropped in at 3 or 4, local gyms in the area, and then decided that Excel was the right fit for them. Started going to the gym. And then after they've been around for a couple months type thing, kind of got a little more involved in the community, got to know some people, then kind of said, hey, by the way, I used to coach at my other gym. And if there's an opportunity, I'd be interested in coaching here. Which then usually I'm like, all right, sounds good. Coach my 4 p.m. today and let's see where you're at, and then they just like crushed it. Like it was obvious up like 5 minutes into class. I'm like, oh, she's done this 1,000 times. Like, you know what I mean? Because like rule number 1, people need to know you're in charge, right? And so that was it. I'm like, oh, yeah, there it is. She like took control of this class. Is like,
natural.
Like 18 people, doesn't know any of their names, and is like in charge running this show. And I'm like, all right, cool. Like she's,
You're hired.
And yep, good. Yep. And so, yeah, we have, and she's like, oh yeah. And I told you I coach. I didn't tell you that I was the gym manager and I have my level 2 and, I have my kids cert and all this stuff. I'm like, all right, great. So yeah, so we have 3 coaches that basically that exact thing happened with. At 4, because one of them, a married couple, they came out and they both were coaching at the other gym that they came from in Virginia and that type of thing. So there's that, and then everybody else is homegrown, right? They were just a member at the gym. Hey, I really like this CrossFit thing. I'm thinking about getting my certification. Okay, sounds good. They do that. Then we have a onboarding process of where they have to shadow so many classes, including coaching some, so that after they get their whatever basics, they get to level 1. You then kind of enter our whatever, like our educational system. So you have to just shadow 20 classes, of different coaches, not all the same person, different classes, different times a day. And then the last 5 of those, they have to run the entire show while the coach that they're shadowing, they observe them. And so then we have observation sheets that there's 20 different things that they need to do in every class. And so then they basically get a score out of 100 on how they did, right? Like everyone's worth 5 points. And so, because they're not all, pass or fail, sometimes it's like, well, you kind of did this, you kind of didn't, whatever. So it's basically set up like a rubric. And so then, yeah, like those last 5 that they're actually being the head coach of, the coach has the observation sheet, make sure, okay, where they at, where the strengths, weaknesses, what could you do better, things to think about. And it just kind of makes it a little more clear rather than like, oh, pretty good. and then anytime a coach wants, they can request observations and we'll observe them and bring that sheet in there and help to develop them that way. We also have monthly coaches meetings, and in every one of the coaches meetings, a portion of what we discuss is like coaching tips. Like, okay, sometimes it's movement based. Sometimes like, hey, we go on the gym and like, here's we're doing we've been doing, or we have some kettlebell snatches coming up next month. A lot of people struggle with like some intricate details that like, here are some things to do. Here are some ways to coach it, some tips to like help people to have less bruises on their arms. And then sometimes it's less movement based. It's more kind of like, hey, when you're coaching a class, like, think about this, or when you're teaching a skill, make sure that, whatever, you are the one facing the open gym side and everyone else is facing the wall, right? Like just like some different, like basic kind of like how to teach pedagogy type things. But there's some sort of like coaches development in every one of our coaches meetings to help kind of bring people along and raise everyone up, you know?
I love that. I don't think I've heard of a gym so far that we've interviewed that has that much structure when it comes to training their coaches and kind of how to kind of make that happen. And I really love how you are really emphasizing it's not just a matter of showing up to the gym and giving a class. It's a matter of actually catering it to the needs of, obviously the members, and obviously taking the time to perfect those skills that are going to help you get further. So I know you mentioned the onboarding for coaches, but what is the onboarding process for a new gym member, someone who's just starting? How would that kind of work for someone who's just joining your gym?
Yeah, we've done this different ways over the past 17 years.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny, for a while we did like everyone does group on ramps, and then we switched to everyone doing individual on ramps. And now we do a combination of both, right? So most of the time,
I was going to say, tell me a little bit about like the difference between those, because I'm really intrigued about the group one. I've never kind of heard or seen that done.
Group on ramps are dope.
Yeah.
I love them. They're great because something you have with individual on ramps is, or intro sessions, whatever you want to call it, is then like, okay, you do these, a series of one-on-ones, and then it's like, okay, now go to a class, and it's like, oh, well, shit, there's gonna be other people there, and whatever. It's like a different thing. Whereas when they do their intro sessions, when people do group intro sessions, then they're there from the start. They're with a group of other people.
Right. And, that's true.
And then they kind of get to know each other. So they start forming some relationships. They actually get a little more involved in the community, because it's not just, they have a relationship with me. Like, I'm coaching this class and I make sure to get plenty of one-on-one touch time with all of them. But they also get to know each other, and you learn more, because like maybe you're doing something pretty good, but then this person over there is whatever on the squat, their knees are coming in. I'm like, and I'm hammering them about like, hey, like not letting your knees crash in, whatever. And then that everyone else is like thinking about it too. You know what I mean? Like that's the I'm over here telling this person, hey, chest up. Like they're probably like, oh shit, is my chest up? Right.
Yeah,
and so,
that's true.
And so they might be doing it pretty good, but maybe if then they think about it more and focus on it more, that'd be a positive thing, right?
True. Yeah.
Same thing if someone's struggling with like whatever, some like ankle mobility, and we're like, oh, here, real quick, let's do this like little drill for you. We'll all do it. And so they're just different aspects to with that. So the group on ramps are fun because they're in it together. I think they actually learn a little bit more because they hear the cues for other people. They form relationships sooner. And so also then at the little workout at the end of it, they're not just doing this workout, the other people are doing too. And so then, which is again, more like an actual class, right? Like what's the benefit of the classes doing the workout together? Like all the same benefits apply. Downsides is scheduling. Right? Like not everybody's always available at the same time. Yeah. So how we kind of do it. So this is like a one-off person, like, hey, you call, you're like, hey, I'm interested in the gym. What does this look like? Okay, cool. So you'll come in and meet with the coach one-on-one for an intro session. They'll go over a PARQ, like a physical activities readiness questionnaire. Okay. It's like basically medical history. Do you have a fake knee? Do you have a bad back? Do you whatever? Surgery, whatever. Just kind of like, that kind of stuff. How motivated are you to work out? When's the last time you worked out? What kind of stuff do you do for exercise, if any? You just to get on these basic type things. And then after that, we go in the gym and we like teach them some stuff. We do, okay, here's some 5 or 6 basic we warm up 5 or 6 basic movements, and then we do a workout that includes those things. Then we come back in the office and say, all right, like now you got a little taste of it. Like, what do you think? Do you think that this is the type of thing that would help you towards your goals? Because we know what their goals are now. And then here's our membership options. And they sign up right there on the spot for long-term membership options with commitments. And then after that, then they'll get a couple more on-ramps. So then, okay, sounds good. Now we'll go through these on-ramps. So we'll meet with them one-on-one a couple more times. Then they'll go to 2 weeks of classes. And after 2 weeks of classes, we'll meet with them a final time. After that, like, okay, now you've been to class for 2 weeks. Like, what do you feel good about? What do you feel bad about? What were they like? Oh, when there was whatever movement, did you like, no idea what to do. Obviously the coach helps them, but like, what do you feel like you need the most help on? Or do you feel pretty good about everything? If you feel pretty good about everything, great, go grab a bar. Let's like do some snatch, clean and jerk. Let's work on the most complicated shit we do in here. Right. And so that's how the individual on ramps work. For the group ones, we'll do like 6-week blocks. And so like, hey, we have a 6-week intro special coming up. And then it's like, okay, yeah, those on ramps are Tuesday and Thursday at 7 p.m. Does that time work for you? And if they say, yep, all right, dope. All right, you're in. If they're like, oh no, I can't do 7 o'clock at night, whatever. Okay, no problem. What we can do is I can actually set you up the trainer to meet with you one-on-one to get those done. Like, how does that sound? So that's how we do when we do the group intros. But we do those about 4 times a year. We'll do those like, okay, here's a 6-week, kind of block. That the first 2 weeks of it are just the intro classes. And after that, you have 4 weeks to go to classes. And then after that, we get them on long-term plans.
I love that. Honestly, I've never heard of the group setting, but I think that one of the biggest things that I hear from our listeners that's the most intimidating is walking into a class for the first time after your individualized onboarding.
Totally.
And that's constantly something we get back from. So I think that's an amazing approach to it. I've never heard that done, and I think that's great. And when you kind of jump into that first initial class for those people that are interested in joining your gym, is that like a no cost intro, like introduction, or how does that work? Do they have to pay for that?
Well, so for the individual ones, right, the like outside of the 6-week course, we'll say, no, that first intro is free. Hey, come in, free intro, see what's up, learn about the program, see if it's a good fit for you. Right.
Love it. Okay.
The 6-week ones are different. Like with the group intros are different. That way, like it's honestly was sometimes like marketed as like a 6-week challenge, but we just like the challenge is they get 4 intro sessions and they get 4 weeks of our classes. They just go to CrossFit. They just go to our regular classes in 4 weeks and then and they get great results. Shocker. And so that one we sell. They pay ahead of time. So that one they sign up for, but there's not a long-term commitment. It's just, hey, 6 weeks. Comes with your intro sessions, 4 weeks of unlimited classes, body fat testing, and nutrition help, whatever. And then, so that one, they pay ahead of time before they start. The other ones, it's like, but the one-on-ones, it's like, oh no, just come in, free intro. And then during the intro, they'll sign up on a plan, like a 6, 12, 18-month agreement.
Gotcha. And then tell me, go for it.
No, that's it. And then they start from there. Yeah.
I was going to ask you, because I saw this really neat, I guess it's part of like the onboarding process, but this really cool, neat body fat machine that you guys had on site. And I think one of your coaches had mentioned, when you kind of start the onboarding process, we have you kind of jump on the machine. And I was like, I need to learn more about this machine because I've never seen it or heard about it. But tell me a little bit more about how that is incorporated into part of the process.
Yeah, so it's called a Fit 3D body scan. And so what it does is it actually uses infrared imaging and it spins you in a circle. It takes like 30 seconds. You don't get dizzy. It's not like the Gravitron. But so it's just like it takes you and the infrared images get all your measurements. And then based off all of your measurements, right? Like hips, thighs, waist, whatever, and your body weight and your height, then it takes that and it correlates that data with DEXA scans. They have the relationship. So like they have all DEXA scans and then it comes back with your body fat percentage, lean mass. It does a postural analysis and is like over 90% accurate. And so normally for body fat testing, right, it's like the hydrostatic weighing where you have dunk people in water, or it's the DEXA scan where then it's a X-ray. So you're exposed to radiation, or skin fold calipers. People are pinching you and shit. So this one, like it's kind of the least invasive way to get like relatively accurate information on body fat percentage, lean mass, that type of thing.
That's amazing.
Although it's funny, as we're talking about now, like what we really should do is when people come in for that first intro, it's like, that's the first thing we should do. We should be like, hey, get on this. And then by the end of that hour, we'll have their body fat percentage done. And we'd be like, look at this. You really need this. Like, you're going to die. Look how you know how you thought you're in pretty bad shape. Like, look at this number.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that honestly, yeah, like I think that would be a good way to kind of just provide data to members and say, like, this is the reason why we do what we do, right? And we think we can help you. And even after, like you said, those 2 weeks or maybe after a month, check in on those scores again and be like, oh, look, we're making progress. I
Yeah.
personally, I'm a very nerdy sciencey person and I love seeing data and numbers. So if
Yeah.
you can show me some data, I'd probably be like, I mean, you're right. And I
We
think
used to, yeah. Yeah, totally.
people like that. Yeah.
Now that we're talking about it, it's funny. I forgot about this. Like we used to do it. We didn't have the Fit 3D scanner at the time, but like um, the Omron, like the electrical bioimpedance, where you just like hold it and it shoots electricity through you and tells your body fat percentage. They're not great. They're like, but they're if it's set, so like, there's like modes, like you choose like athlete or just like whatever civilian. If you pick the correct mode and stuff and put in the correct data, they're not bad. They're like 80% accurate, something like that. But they're super easy. You just grab it, hold this thing, put it in and go. But then we would take that as like, oh, look, this says you're 20% body fat. If we look at this chart here, the like healthy body fat percentage for your age and gender would be whatever 16. You're at 24. Like, oh man, should probably do something about that, right? But we stopped. Now I'm thinking about it, we haven't been doing that since we got the Fit 3D scanner because it's like it's just so much more accurate. But also, it's not invasive. You do have to like strip down, like you when you wear tight clothes, your hair up, and then you know what I mean. Like it's not as like here, hold this and done. Like yeah, it takes 10 minutes, whereas the other thing takes like 20 seconds, right? But yeah, we should. I'm gonna think about that a little more.
Because I did see that and I was like, oh, that's a cool machine. I've never seen one of those before.
So they do if after you sign up, you get one for sure. You get one like boom right away, and then whatever 6 weeks later, you can do another one. But having it as part of the like sales process is definitely beneficial, I think.
I think so too. I think it'd be a good opportunity, like you said, to put kind of numbers and data to an experience, especially when it comes to understanding. Because I would imagine, and you can kind of correct me here, but when you get members that come in, a lot of them, like you said, have never really heard of CrossFit or have a certain perception of CrossFit when they come in. That's a little different than what it is. And kind of providing that education, like you mentioned, and bridging that gap between like the fear of, I guess, that comes with like CrossFit and what those exercises are. And then the expectation, I think, is very different things. So how do you mediate that with a lot of like members who come in and maybe don't know or are friends of other members and are kind of unsure? Like, how do you kind of address that in like your new members or help with that?
I think what really helps, honestly, is like the intros, like because they don't just come in and get thrown into this class, not know what's going on. It's like they come in, they meet with the trainer who's super friendly and nice and like, hey, what's up? What are your goals? What are you trying to do? What, you know, and then you go and you do a workout. And we hear a lot like when it's like, okay, we teach them some stuff. We teach them the movements before we do the workout. We're like, oh, I haven't been like coached since I was in high school, or like I haven't been like taught how to do something, whatever. Right. And so they're like, oh, these people are actually going to like show me what to do and teach me. And then they do a workout that's not crazy, doesn't make them puke or anything. And then also a lot of times when they're doing the intros, we have classes going on. So, you know, they kind of go in there and they see like the regular classes. Oh, look, these are normal people, right? Like they, you know, whatever. There are people that are my age, that are my size, that are, you know, whatever. And so that I think really helps. That's awesome. I think it's like, you just got to get them in the door. You know what I mean? Like
that's the hardest part. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So tell me a little bit more about what we can expect at one of your classes. I did get a chance to kind of jump in. I think it might have been Buddy who was coaching at the time. But Jen was there as well. I think she was going to have a yoga class that day. I didn't get to do the yoga class, but I did the CrossFit class. I mean, the programming personally for me, mind you, I'm not like a crazy RX athlete or anything, but I was like, it was tough. It was hard stuff for sure. The volume was pretty high. I was able to do it luckily, but it was tough programming. But everybody in the class was just pushing through it. And I was impressed at like the age range and also just like the diversity that you have in Manteca. To tell me a little bit more of just like the location. What's the address, I guess, primarily for our listeners who would want to come in and maybe visit? And then also just, I know you mentioned you are 15 minutes outside of the gym. So you're in a different town or?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So yes, it's CrossFit Excel Health and Fitness. We're in Manteca, California, so you find us. Yeah, so I live just the next town down the road. So actually, it's like 5 minutes away is where I live. But yeah, we're right there in town. We're right there in the next town over. Yeah, so I mean, it's great. What day of the week do you go to class?
Was it
Did you go on? It
Friday?
was a weekday.
It was a
Yeah.
weekday, I believe. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I was curious because it's funny. Like within a week, like I said, we hit different time domains and stuff. But then people also like knowing what's going on. So like Sundays, like we have one class on Sunday, and it is every week. It's just a grinder, and like people know that. Like it kind of happened on accident. Like our Sunday coach, it's this girl Felicia does, and she does a great job. But it's like one day there's just this brutal workout on a Sunday, and then the next week it was like, oh, people kind of like that. The next week is like another like long, challenging, like 40-minute kind of grindhouse workout. And then it's like, now that's just how it is. Like if you, and people just know, like, but people show up for it. Like that's what they go there for. They're like, oh, Sunday, like I'm going to the gym to like
To
they
die.
know they know they're showing up for like a like long grinder ass workout. They're like sometimes in partners and stuff, whatever, but all like it's going to be 45 minutes and it's going to be hard and you know what I mean? Whereas, any other day of the week, things are always like varied and shifted kind of day to day and moved around and stuff. But it's just funny how that works. Like it just over time, that's just what people expect now. Like that's what they want. Like and it's busy. Like there's like 25 people are showing up on Sundays to get their ass handed to them. It's kind of funny.
You're like, let's go with it. Let's go with the flow. If that's what
people like and want, they're showing up for. And I get it too. Like, whatever, you're coming off a Friday night and Saturday, maybe you were, out of town, or there's, a lot of times there's some sort of, birthday party or whatever's going on, it's like Sunday, you're kind of ready to get your life back together. Like coming into the gym and getting taken to task, I think is something to that.
That's true. A little slap in the face to get you ready for Sunday.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And then Friday we do partner workouts, or at least every workout will have a partner option. Which same thing. People like the people like the consistency. And like, if you're like a total CrossFit purist, you might be like, well, is that, whatever, is that always ideal to do? It's like, I don't know, man. Fridays are busy. Like people like it. I like it. Like I try not to miss a Friday because it's like, I like doing partner workouts. I like, and you don't have to, like you could show up and do whatever. Sometimes there's an individual option, but like no one does that. Everybody wants to do the partner workouts,
I do love partner workouts, yeah.
And so it's kind of fun to have some, again, people in a program like CrossFit where there is a lot of variance and that type of thing, having just some things that people can rely on, and is a positive thing.
I love it. All right, let's get to some of the fun questions. Speaking of moves and favorite kinds of WODs, what is your favorite CrossFit like exercise, move, or lift? It could also be a lift. And which one's your least favorite?
Well, I want the workout to be less than 5 minutes or more than 25 minutes. Yeah. That's where I'm at. Like I want it so short that you can finish before it hurts, or like long enough to where you never really work that hard. So yeah. That's interesting. Yeah. So that's kind of fun. As far as like favorite movements, I don't know. Like actually earlier talking about I like kettlebell snatches. Okay. I mean, just cleans. Like I competed in Olympic weightlifting for 5 or 6 years. Awesome. So anything with like cleans or clean and jerks or snatches is pretty right in my wheelhouse. Least favorite, man, I don't really like to run. I don't mind like short. I don't mind short, like 200, even 400 meters, no big deal. But like anytime that there's like 800-meter runs or longer in workouts, that's like not exciting for me.
Yeah, I think the feeling is mutual.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Tell me a little bit, just out of curiosity, did you ever get a chance to compete in weightlifting? Because you did a lot of it like growing up.
Yeah, so Olympic style weightlifting. So I competed in weightlifting for 5 or 6 years on this team out here called California Strength. And so we're one of the top teams in the country. And so I started off doing some local meets and then started training with them. And then for about 4 years or so, kind of traveled around the country lifting at national championships and those types of things. And so, yeah, so that was a lot of fun.
It's so technical. I only did like weightlifting for like 3 months, and that was enough for me to be like, oh man, this is hard. this is it's very gritty, but I'm also the kind of person that's like, I can't sit still for more than 5 minutes between lifts, that I'm just like, it was mentally harder for me. That's why I'm like, it takes a certain kind of person to weightlift, but it's so beautiful when you get to see it put together and the person just executes it. It's insane.
Yeah.
But
like every now and then it feels right.
Yeah,
You're like,
it's true.
That's what it's supposed to feel like. Yeah.
I think someone who's in weightlifting now had told me like it's really hard because not every day is a win day. Like you don't get your lifts a lot of the times. And you have to be okay with that versus CrossFit. You jump into a class and you feel like, oh, I successfully completed a workout. And there's that feeling of that. So it's very, I guess, different in that sense.
Yeah, there's more bad days than good for sure.
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah,
it's hard.
that's what I hear. So what is something kind of going into that theme of like being discouraged? Like what's something that you recommend athletes who are maybe new to CrossFit and maybe like jump in after a week or two and just feel defeated, maybe a little discouraged? Like what are some feedback?
I think one thing is the common misconception, right? I think that a lot of people think that CrossFit is high intensity, so they confuse that with maximum intensity, right? Meaning every workout shouldn't be 100% effort, balls to the wall effort. And I think that people feel discouraged sometimes because they're a little beat up that day and they're like, well, I'm kind of tired, I'm just not going to go. Or you go and you feel like, oh, I don't really feel like pushing, like going to that dark space today or whatever, right? And so, like I said, yeah, CrossFit is high intensity. That does not mean it's maximum intensity. And some days you feel good and maybe you do go for it, like let it rip, On the other days, if you don't, that's fine. Like, and since CrossFit by definition is functional movement performed at high intensity, that means there must be a medium and a low. And if that's the case, then low is going to be like 0 to 35%, medium 35 to we'll call it 70%. And so as long as you're working at 70% effort or above, you're doing CrossFit and you're going to get the results of doing CrossFit. And so you don't have to go and fucking burn the boats every single day. And I think that that's where a lot of the discouragement comes from, is you feel like, oh, whatever. Oh, I scaled too many things, or I can't even do these movements, or, it's whatever, or I only did so many rounds. It's like, it's not, you like, if you're like crawling out of the gym every day, honestly, you're probably doing it wrong. And like, this has been something I've had to realize as I get a little older as well, is, look, if my goal is to go to call it 4 classes a week, I'm not going to, and a lot of times, it's not like a 3-on-1 off schedule, like would be ideal. Like sometimes, and so it's like, some days I don't feel like, it's like, man, I don't really feel like doing that workout. It's like, well, it's okay. Today's just 70% day. I'm just going to show up. I'm going to work at 7. And I can always talk myself into working at 70%. And then once the workout starts, maybe you feel great and let it rip. You know what I mean? But it's kind of, I've taken that attitude into it of like, I'm just, some days are 70% days and some days you feel great. And a lot of times you don't really know which one is going to be until you're done warming up.
It's so true. Yeah. That's exactly how I'm like, once I get a warm up in, I'm like, I feel 10 times better. But I think that's a good call out, and something that a lot of people kind of fail to recognize is that like there's a lot of comparison. I think when people jump into CrossFit and see other athletes doing a pull up or being able to do a chest to bar and them not being able to do that, and constantly saying like, oh, well, I'm not at their level, or I'm not lifting what they're lifting, so that means I'm not doing RX. And kind of, I know that Blake, the other person in our podcast, is very emphasis on like, well, that's your 70% and that's that person's 70%. So technically You're both doing the same thing. It's just, and I think it's difficult to kind of get that mind to that place.
Or thinking that like RXing is better than scaling the workout.
Exactly.
It's like, well, no, not really. Like it depends. Like if you do the workout RX, but then it takes you whatever, an hour to do this workout that should have taken you 5 minutes, like that's not better. Or same thing, like heavier is better. It's like doing, Fran, like heavy Fran. It's like, no, honestly, heavy Fran's the worst is a weird thing to say. Like, not a better workout. Like, you know what I mean? Like, honestly, it's like, it's an out. It's an excuse to like, not have to like work as hard and to take more breaks, And so, yeah, it's like,
true. Yeah.
RX does not mean they're going to get a better workout than doing a workout scaled, heavier does not mean they're going to get a better workout. Yeah. Like I said, it's someone else's 70%. Like, where are you at, man?
Exactly. And kind of going off of No, I know we talked about your favorite exercise move. What's your least favorite?
Oh yeah. Oh, the running.
Running?
Anything
Okay.
over 800, I don't really love to do. It's fine. Like whatever. Like if I had to go, if it was like, hey, go run a 5K today, like I would do it. That'd be fine. But it's like I don't know, man. Like I said,
Yeah.
workouts that have like 800-meter runs in the
Yeah, that's
workout, like
rough.
I don't really want to do
That's fair. And
that.
do you follow like any CrossFit athletes? Are there any favorites that you have? Although I heard Justin Medeiros was at your gym not long ago, so you guys might be
Yeah,
a little
Justin's a nice guy.
biased.
Well, yeah, Justin's a nice guy. I like Justin a lot. Actually, so Noah Olson is a pretty good friend of mine. Um, yeah, I've known Noah for 10 or 12 years now. And so it's been fun to watch him like kind of come up and then get to the, kind of that level and what he's been able to maintain is pretty impressive. So Noah's great. And on the female side, she just retired recently, but Carrie Pierce, same thing. Carrie Pierce was a good friend of mine. And watching her get, like being the fittest woman in the U.S., like the fittest American woman a bunch of times, that type of stuff is a lot of fun. And so, yeah, I really like, I'd say Noah and Carrie are probably, yeah, something like that.
Cool. And tell me a little bit about like, because obviously, are you still coaching at this time, or is it more
Mm-hmm.
just cool? Is
Yeah,
there?
so I coach. So my business partner buddy, it's just the two of us, the gym now.
Mhm,
So he coaches quite a bit. Like he does
mhm.
our morning classes, every day of the week. So he coaches quite a bit. I coach a little bit less, but do a little more on the back end side of things. And so I'm on a schedule for 2 days a week. And I love it. I love it. It's fun. It's good to kind of be in touch with the gym and people and that type of stuff. And so, yeah, I'm on the schedule 2 days a week, and then I spend a little more time on the different aspects of the business. And then lately when we do those like group on ramp sessions, a lot of times I'll coach those. The plan was like, I'll do the first one or two of these, and then after that, I'll have another coach do it. But it's just so much fun. And I was like, no way, man, I'm going to keep doing these.
Keeps you on your toes. Yeah, like you
Yeah,
said, it keeps you like in touch with the
yeah,
members, and it's a great opportunity to do that. And then, of course,
yep.
you don't want to
And then
get
we're doing,
rusty on the
yeah,
coaching
for sure.
skills.
And they're picking up some outside contracts, like with the local fire department, can do their strength conditioning
Ah,
stuff like that. And so I'll take on the lion's share of like coaching with that.
that's
Um,
awesome.
and actually, there's a high level like club volleyball team out here
Mm.
that they have like 28 teams, and half of them go to national championships. And so we
Oh,
have
wow.
we have the contract for strength conditioning for them as well. And
Huh.
actually, like Buddy does most of those, and we send out like 3 coaches every day to go
Wow.
coach these kids. So
That's crazy. So tell me a little bit more about that because I was going to ask about like any events or competitions, anything that you do at your gym that you might want listeners or other gyms to know about. Like tell us more
yeah,
about those.
well, so which way do you want to go? You want to talk about the contracts or about the events and stuff?
Let's do contracts first and then we could talk about events.
So sometimes it's nice to look at like what are other options, other opportunities outside the gym.
Right.
What do we have, right? So we have, you know, 15 or 17, something like that, like people that coaches that are qualified to coach CrossFit and stuff. Some of them coach more, some of them coach relatively, just one class a week or something like that. But we have quite a few coaches that are good at what they do. What do we know? We know fitness, get people in shape. So it's like, so where are different areas we can help people? Because if we only help the people that show up at the gym, it's going to limit a few things. It's going to limit how many people we can get in front of, how many people we can touch, like help out. Also, then it kind of limits your revenue as well. And so it's like, okay, well, what are things that we can do outside the gym where we can help more people get in shape? We can expose more people to exercise. And also I know we do a good job. Like we can teach people how to work out the right way and get these results and stuff. And so, we got this contract with the volleyball team, and that's fun because it's like working with kids, because they're between the ages of 12 and 17. And so it's like fun to go and help out these like youth athletes. And then some other contracts just around. So we just got a contract the fire department to do strength conditioning for their guys. And so that's something that's fun. And then it's kind of a funny one. Like we have a couple apartment complexes that they're like nice high end apartment complexes that have like little weight rooms. And they actually reached out to us and then said, hey, like basically we want you to come out, teach a couple classes a month at the complex here. Like, yeah, sounds great. And these are all good because you're getting out in front of people. And so it's a marketing, there's a marketing aspect of it for, awareness. But then also it's good to get out there and ways that you can increase impact and revenue outside your walls,
All those kids are going to be the new generation of CrossFit. I mean,
yeah, dude,
it's crazy.
And what we do with them is a little different. There's a little more strength conditioning bias, but like it's all the same. It's all the movements, right? Like you're out there, you're teaching them to squat, you're teaching them to pull, you're teaching them, like proper form and all these movements. And as the season progresses, we go more and more into like CrossFit style workouts. But with them, like a big part of what we're doing there is like injury prevention, right? Like we just want them to be, we want them to be in the best shape they can be in, but we need to make sure and also they don't, they're kids, like they don't move so we like really hammer like movement patterns and ingraining these like positive movement patterns, which will then carry over onto the athletic field and have less injuries.
Smart. I love that. And then tell me a little bit about your events, because I did hear about the turkey trot, but I think there's more.
Well, yeah, the turkey day not turkey trot, we don't run. It's it's the turkey day throwdown. Yeah. And so every year it's a big fundraiser we do. So every year we just host a local in-house competition. So it's just for members of the gym. It's team competition, teams of 3, co-ed teams of 3. You have to have at least one female. And then, so it just simplifies it. It's just RX and scaled. And your entry fee is everyone has to bring in one frozen turkey.
Oh, that's cool.
And so we do that. And then you can just come by and watch. You can bring down turkeys if you want. You just donate money to buy turkeys. And so this last year we ended up raising, I think it was 107 turkeys we donated to the local food bank. And
that's
so
awesome.
we do it the Saturday before Thanksgiving. And so that way they just go straight to the food bank. The food bank can get them, deliver them out to local families. And so we do that every year. We also work with the fire department. We do like a fundraiser for their, they go and do this like stair climb and raise money for Leukemia Foundation. And so we have one actually we're going to do in January. We're about to announce it. Or we're going to have a live band come into the gym. And then we're going to do like Max Out Friday. We're going to do CrossFit Total. And so it's like, hey, $30, you get a t-shirt and then come down and do CrossFit Total while a live band is playing. And then all the money goes to the Leukemia Society.
That is so neat.
And then we have a Christmas party every year. We do a Valentine's Day brunch and workout. We do like a women's WOD and wine night. Where the ladies, women only, and it's like do a little group workout, then hang out and drink some wine. We do like a bros and brews thing where it's just the dudes.
Wait, who comes up with these? Because these sound amazing.
Well, over the years, man, we've been doing this for 18 years.
That is awesome.
You try stuff, and the ones that work, you repeat. So we have our whole 2026 calendar done.
That's so cool.
It's funny if you just like have alcohol as an option, then people show up. So it's like, so February, Valentine's Day brunch. So we do a little workout and people will bring their spouse that doesn't go to the gym and stuff like that, do a little workout that anyone could do. And then afterwards we have mimosa brunch.
That's so cool.
Yeah. Then May is like the WOD and wine, and June we'll do the bros and brews. And then we kind of go through, then we do the classic like Memorial Day, Murph. And then, and then we have our turkey day throwdown, Christmas party. And then, we do a family fun night in late September, early October, where we get bounce houses. We get a couple bounce houses. And then just like, hey, bring in an appetizer and bring down the whole family. And then people come and hang out. And the same thing, we do a little workout, a little family workout. So, we'll get 60 people down there. Like people bring their kids and everything. We'll do a workout in your little family units, right? And then just like a little kind of 10-minute thing to get the kids going, and then after that, kids go play in the bounce houses and parents hang out, and sounds a lot of fun too. Yeah,
I've never heard of so many social events at a gym, but I love it. I'm into that.
Yeah, dude, it's got to keep the community strong, man. Keep people. It's a lot more than just a gym, right?
It is.
You want people to be down there and hanging out and making friends and stuff.
Now that we're talking about kind of the community and the gym and all of that, tell me a little bit about like what you wish or what you envision your gym to be in the sense of like the next few years and where you want to take it, and a little bit about, pretty much like what your affiliate means to you, right? And that could be like your members, that could be like the coaches, that could be everything, but all
Yeah.
encompassing.
I mean, the truth is like it's for me specifically, like it's for sure like the center point of our life, like outside of our little family here, right? Like my business partner in the gym is my next door neighbor. Like he literally, like his house is right there. Like we have a gate between our backyards. Like our kids, like my kids will just like go next door, like come like through the backyard, like through the gate, right? We eat dinner together like probably twice a month, type like, and so whatever, and so there's that. My wife goes to the gym. Our friends, like pretty much all our friends that we hang out with, go to the gym. Either we met them at the gym or we didn't, and they go to the gym now, right? And so it's like go to class and see my friends, hang out, right? And then my kids' friends go, like from the gym, right? And so it's for us, it really is. It's like my parents go to the gym. They go to our silver classes,
Awesome.
Yeah, and so it's for us. It's kind of like our main community. It's where our friends are. So it's a business. Helps support the family, and also is where we can help out the community and just have a positive impact in our lives and everyone else's. That's the goal. Where do I see it going? Honestly, like we, like I said, we have our whole calendar set for 2026. I feel like last year or two, we kind of had to figure some things out as far as like marketing growth wise. And we found some things, but it was a little more like, okay, like, oh, is this working? Okay, we got to do another one. When does it fit on the schedule? Like trying to jam it all together. And it was kind of, and that's how it goes, right? When you're figuring new things out, it is kind of, you got to be flexible and try things and go by the seat of your pants a little bit. Now we found some things that work. It's time to, all right, now like let's settle down and let's put these things into systems and be less hectic and more systemized. There's another one thing. We're more intentional, like exactly when we're doing things and scheduling things out. And so that's why I see for 2026, I actually see sustained, because we grew in 2025 on the CrossFit side of things by 20% or so. And so I see sustained, maybe not at that level, but some sustained growth, but through intentional systems and not just like, oh shit, make it happen,
Right. 100%. And tell me a little bit, like for our listeners who want to sign up for a class and reach out to you, what's the best way for them to contact you guys?
Let's go to the website, excelhealth.fit, and you can get taken care of from there.
And then you have a drop-in fee, and then I'm assuming an unlimited plan. And then is there any other plans that you offer at the gym?
Nope, everything's unlimited. So if people, we have people can just do yoga, or they can just do CrossFit, or they can do both. But like within those memberships, any plan you pick is all unlimited classes.
Nice, good to know. And then you did mention you have over 200 members. And then did you mention the location of the gym? Do you mind sharing that with us as well?
Yep. Yeah, it's Manteca, right? Manteca, California. It's on Moffett Boulevard.
Moffett Boulevard.
So you can find us. Yep.
Nice. And then lastly, this is a question that we like to ask everybody on the podcast. But for somebody who, let's pretend that you were at the beginning of your CrossFit journey. If there was one thing you could have told yourself back in the heyday of you just starting CrossFit, like what would that one tip of advice be?
Oh, I'd say, well, one is like you just show up, like be consistent, right? And then the other thing is like scale when appropriate. Like don't be like when I started, I didn't know that people scaled workouts. Like I was doing it on my own. Right? Like I was just working out at the Globo gym, following.com. And it's like if it said I was supposed to use this weight or do this many rounds, I just did it. And, and sometimes it's really hard. And so yeah, I think that scale when appropriate. Like it's not a bad thing, right?
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. I personally am very competitive too, so I try to avoid the scaling, and it took some time to kind of get that ingrained out of my head. But I think that's an amazing thing, and that's something that, like you said, it's motivating, but it's also something that you kind of have to come to terms with, that this is brand spanking new to you.
Well, those things come together, right? If the goal is to work out again tomorrow, then you need to not be so wrecked that you don't want to work out again tomorrow. Right.
True. I'm like, that's my shoulder right now. Oh man. I'm like, it's always something. But that is all I really had for you, Danny. Was there anything else you wanted to share, or anything that comes to mind that I might have missed, or that you would want us to know or include?
I don't think so. I feel good.
How are you feeling, by the way? I know that you were sick when we last checked in, but everything okay?
Yeah, I'm doing good now. Oh, dude, I know. Last one was with me. I was like, I didn't sleep at all. I was like,
that's awful.
The fever or shaking type thing. But anyway, yeah, I'm all good now.
That's good. I'm like, everybody's getting sick out here in Kingman, Arizona, but it's bad. So
my family, we're just taking turns. So.
Oh no, that's what happens, man. How many kids do you have? Do you have kids?
Two kids. Yeah.
2 kids, and I saw a dog in the back. You got some dogs.
Oh yeah, Shirley, come through here again. Yeah, yeah. two kids, a dog, and a cat. So we got
I love it.
The whole crew. Yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you, Danny. Have an awesome rest of your day. Let me know if you need anything or have questions.
All right. Thanks, Joyce. Have a good day.
No problem. You too.
Bye.
Bye.
That was an amazing episode. Again, I'm so sad I was sick and I missed out on it, but man, Joycey and Danny killed it. Again, Joycey sat down with Excel Health and Fitness, and that is in Manteca, which is really funny because that's actually where my husband grew up. And for there to be a CrossFit gym there, it's just hilarious. It was really awesome to hear all the experience, what their gym offers, what they're bringing to their community, and overall just the wisdom, right? So, on that being said, if this podcast is your swig of pre-workout, remember to follow so you don't miss one of these affiliate segments for the year. And hit those 5 stars, leave a comment on Spotify, leave us a review on YouTube, let us know how we're doing, or even on Apple Podcasts. We're also on Amazon if you listen on there. If you want to be on our affiliate segment or have an episode in mind that you want us to deep dive in because you have a life and you don't have the time, please share it with us. You can DM us on Instagram at SavagelyScaled or email us at SavagelysCaled1@gmail.com. We appreciate it. We love to do deep dive into some of the topic options that you guys have given us as fans or ones that we think of, but we really, really enjoy when it comes from you guys and just the questions that you have. Because remember, we're all Savagely Skilled athletes. But remember, don't be a Karen, be a Sharon. And until we meet at the whiteboard again, guys, bye.